I have some advice, player. It will benefit you for any tabletop role-playing game, regardless of the type of game master that you run into. In these games, a player can detail out what their character does. A player can give enough detail that it is very clear what their character is doing, or give vague detail and have the game master and other players assume what is being done. A player can state that their character leaves the room, or they can state that their character stands up, walks over to the door, opens the door, and steps outside of the room, and then closes the door. My advice to players is always approach it with the greater detail. Even in minute situations where it doesn't really matter. Think of it like practice in creating a habit. So when the details matter, you'll be used to doing it and you'll do it from habit. This also puts you in a situation to demand more detail from the game master. If you detail out what your character does, it's harder for the game master to assume your character into a situation where a monster can suddenly swing at the character and be in range to hit them. Also, from this habit, you'll notice as a player that you focus on more detail in general, and when you do that, it's important. Any details a game master gives, if you see an opportunity, you can dive in. If you're not paying attention, you might not see an opportunity. And you never know when you hear something and say, oh, if my character does that, does something about that or reacts to that, they could get an advantage here, something the game master may give me. But if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss such things. And remember, these are mind games. Something like this literally lets you work out your mind, keep that motor running during a session. You might not think that matters, but it really does. It really does to help you think later in important spots when you're really being challenged. If you've been thinking the entire session, your mind really going, you'll be warmed up, if you get what I'm saying. And it does help. Also, you'll run your imagination as you're giving out all these details about what your character's going to do. It's going to be a wonderful experience where you get to paint the imagination for yourself, the game master, and other players with what your character does, instead of them painting most of the scene with your character. You take control of that. The character is your responsibility, like the other characters or the other players' responsibility, to really impact the imagination, and the game master takes care of the rest. Do your part, right? Really play into it. Get those details in there. It helps you game-wise. It's way more fun. It's an exciting time. For now, take care.